I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Juda Zogi Chonam Loe Chanju Bardo Dane Gyasuch Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Chola Benjere Sanje Dubare Shu Sanje Juda Zogi Chonam Loe Chanju Bardo Dane Gyasuch Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Chola Benjere Sanje Dubare Shu Sanje Jula Zoge Jonam Loe Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapsuchi Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Chola Benjere Sanje Dubare Shu Page number. Essence. Okay, page 6. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the Great Seer. Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Arasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Let us turn to page 61. Page 61. This is the Sutra, and I like to explain a little bit about this. The background of this is that the Buddha was there in the realm known as the 33 God realms. This is a God realm, and then all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they were there, and then the Avalokiteshvara, he stood up and made prostrations to the Buddha Shakyamuni. And they informed the Buddha that all the god and goddesses, they come here to receive blessings from you. And they also wonder as to what to do to accumulate enormous amount of merit within a short span of time. Then the Buddha taught this sutra, the mantra which we used to recite every day. E dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tathagato hyavatat desham chayu nirodha evam vadima ashramane swaha. So this mantra, the Buddha considers as extremely important, precious for us, and that so we talk about constructing stupas, building stupas, and the building stupas can be very important. Yes, of course, if you have wealth, money, you can build very elaborate stupas. But even if you don't have any financial, say, support in that sense, you can still build stupas. Stupas, very simple stupas, and the Buddha will explain how to create a stupa. Usually we have, particularly in the Tibetan tradition and also in Thai tradition, the stupas are so elaborate. It's very good. But in our own capacity as an individual, what kind of stupas can be built? The Buddha Shakyamuni just taught a very simple way of constructing stupas, where just the physical structure doesn't really matter as much. The most important thing is what is the essence inside. And the Buddha identified this mantra. This mantra should be like the core, the essence of the sutra, the stupa. This mantra, ye dharma hetu prabhava. And this is the external stupa. And the whole purpose is that we build the external stupa, and later on, eventually that be translated into internal stupa. Internal stupa, meaning that you should see yourself as a stupa, that your mind, where the mantra is put at the core, at the center of the stupa, likewise at your mind, at the center of your mind, and there should be the mantra. And this mantra, not just words, the meanings reflected in your mind. The mantra, the words, the symbolic stupa, but the mantra, how the Buddha is going to explain to us. And then the meaning sutra, the meaning stupa, that is that your mind should be able to say the words of this Ye Dharma mantra, reflect on the meanings, and awaken the experience, invoke the experiences of the meanings of this mantra inside. Then you become a stupa. If that is done, then the Buddha taught that you will accumulate so much merit, enormous merit. Yes, of course, what is that merit accumulation? That's all done by your mind. When the mind knows what to do, what to adopt, the good things, what to discard, the bad things, then naturally you will adopt all the good things through this mantra. And mantra to be served as a mirror for us, what to adopt and what to discard. E dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from causes. Hetum desham tathagato hyavata. These causes, what these causes are pertaining to bringing miseries, is taught by the Tathagata. And the desham chayu nirodha, how to bring an end to these causes of miseries, is also taught by the great seer. So this meaning, this mantra should be seen as a mirror for us, and then inside us, it should be reflected within us, invoked within us, that this is how I should live my life, to discard or abandon all forms of negativities and embrace as much as wealth of virtues as possible. If that is the case, you become stupa, then you accumulate so much merit to undertake the journey towards ultimate happiness. So this is the whole point. And let us see. So usually some people get the impression that, if I don't have enough money, then I cannot practice dharma. say, to go to a center and so forth. And say if you don't have money, then you don't have dharma. It's not true. In fact, what is important is that yes, of course, for us to be associated with centers is very important. At the same time, what is most important is your own learning. These centers will help you how to connect yourself to this learning, study, reflection, and meditation. And in what areas to go for study, reflection, meditation, renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, and the single point meditation. Once you know what to study, to meditate, what to the practice, then it's not necessary that you should always have to depend on some external facts with these centers where if you have no money then you cannot go. This is very sad. No, this is not the idea. The idea is that you should know what to study, what to reflect, what to meditate on, and then on that basis see how much you can spend time on these points. So that's the real spirit of the Dharma. So it's not that if you have the money, then you can go for Dharma. If you don't have money, you cannot do anything. This is not true. So Jisumilarepa, he did not have anything, and he was the king of the Dharma practitioners. So let's not forget this. Okay. So having said this, let's turn to page 61, and let's slowly read this and reflect on the meanings and also see to the core of the message that Buddha Shakyamuni is giving us. Noble Mahayana Sutra, dependent arising. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time. The Blessed One was in the realm of the 33 gods, seated on the throne of Indra. With him were great hearers such as Venerable Ashvajit, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, such as Noble Maitreya, Noble Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani, who are adorned with immeasurable precious qualities, as well as and the Panchasika, who is the king of the Gandharvas. On that occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara rose from his seat and having draped his upper robe over one shoulder, knelt down with his right knee on the peak of the Mount Meru, his palms together. He then bowed towards the Blessed One and addressed these words to him. So here, the Blessed One refers to the Buddha. The Blessed One, these gods already wish to build a stupa. Now that they are present in this entourage, please teach them the Dharma in such a way so that the merit of Brahma will increase, and the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen will increase much more than that of all types of beings in the world of gods, Maras, and Brahma, including renunciates and Brahmins. At this, the Blessed One spoke the verses of dependent arising. Ye dharma hetu prabhava, hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat, tesham chayo nirota, evam vati ma shramane soham. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well is taught by the great seer. Avalokiteshvara, it is like that. The dependent arising is the Dhammakaya of all the Buddhas. One who sees dependent arising sees the Tathagata, Avalokiteshvara. If a faithful son or a daughter of a noble family builds in a remote place a stupa the size of a gooseberry fruit with a central pillar the size of a needle and a parasol the size of a flower of the bagula tree, and inserts this verse of dependent arising, which is Dhammadadu, he or she will generate the merit of Brahma. When such person pass on from here and die, they will be reborn in the world of Brahma. When they pass on from there and die, they will be reborn with fortunes equaling those of the gods of the pure abodes. After the Blessed One has spoken these words, the hearers, the Bodhisattvas, and the whole assembly, and the universe of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas rejoice and praise this teaching. Okay, from this, what we've learned is that this mantra is so precious, and you have learned about Bodhichitta, wisdom and emptiness, and reciting this mantra, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat, that all these miseries, they arise from the causes. What are the causes? Particularly self-grasping ignorance. And now that you already know the verse from Arinagarjuna, that the contaminate karmas, then, the cause of miseries, contaminate karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, elaborate self-grasping ignorance. So when it says Desham Jay no Edharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tathagato Hyavatat. These causes are taught by the Tathagata. So we should be able to recall that, okay, my contaminant karmas, my afflictions, inappropriate attention, self-grasping ignorance, these are the causes of my miseries, and miseries for others, misery for myself. And how to bring an end to these causes? Desham Jayo Nirodha. So how to bring an end to these causes? First, contaminant karmas, stay away from the contaminant karmas. Afflictions, try to refrain from giving in to the afflictions. Inappropriate attention, to see things in relative terms. Then the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, wisdom of emptiness, to think of the emptiness. Desham Jayo Nirodham Evam Vadi Ma Sharmana. So particularly with all these the factors to challenge, to combat the cause of the miseries, particularly the ultimate, the panacea to heal you completely, to get rid of all the miseries, the cause of miseries is the wisdom of emptiness. Then think of the emptiness for a while. How you see that we see ourselves as something so solid, identity, so objectified, as intrinsic there, but just beyond the atoms, there's nothing there as this person to be identified as a person, to be identified as the flowers, the table, and so forth. Just give yourself a little, they give us a little time and think about it. Desham Jayo Nirod. Think about emptiness. And when you get just a glimpse of emptiness, see how your mind reacts, how your mind responds to this experience. Instantly, the moment you get a glimpse of this, and of course, what is that emptiness? In the form of non-affirming negative. You're getting it, Kyle? Non-affirming negative. Emptiness in the form of non-affirming negative. And see how your mind responds to this. Your mind responds to this, that in ways that you feel so calm and peaceful, which we have never experienced before, right? We've never experienced before. You said that your mind feels so calm. Instantly, there's non-affirming negative aspect where the self dissolves. The moment the six elements, positive, negative, affirming, non-affirming, 6 elements. Hey, what happened? Huh? What about the rest of you? What happened? Hey, 6 elements, positive, negative phenomena. Positive, right? Now they used to be very active. What happened today? Okay, it's a positive phenomena, right? The moment the positive phenomena comes to your mind, instantly that profound experience will disappear. You're getting it? So gradually, initially you may not be able to see the distinction. And gradually you see the distinction very clearly. The moment non-affirming negative, where objective existence is rejected, in the form non-affirming negative, you'll feel the mind will take a very different form of the calmness and the peace. When the positive phenomena comes, instantly that calmness will disappear. From this you can figure out which exactly is emptiness and which is not. Okay. So in other words, when we recite this mantra, we try to invoke the experience. We try to reflect on the meanings and then think of emptiness. So there you get the amount of the merit as the Buddha they predicted, also as the Buddha they prophesied. Then also that I remember just sharing with you, I think the first day or the second day when we start this mantra, say when you go in the wilderness, when you go in the ocean, when you go by aeroplane or by car, and when you see all this the huge, massive sea under you, or the wilderness, just think of all these innumerable creatures there. How many animals, creatures, tiny creatures are there, and how many creatures in the ocean. Just say this mantra for them, Ye Dharma Hedu Prabhava, meaning that self-grasping ignorance is the cause of all the miseries. And if you don't want to feel the fear of taking birth there, in the wilderness, where everybody has to live in fear. The bigger animals, they have to, yes, they eat up the smaller ones, but the bigger ones, when they go on their own, then the smaller ones in pack, they can eat you up. And then the bigger ones, even the bigger ones, are very strong ones. When they grow a little older, they cannot really go to hunt, others will eat you. So this is extremely the vicious cycle in the wilderness, in the ocean, so forth. Just recite this mantra for them. Tell them, mentally talk to them that self-grasping ignorance is at the root of all our miseries. If you don't want these miseries, discover the wisdom of emptiness. Practice wisdom of emptiness, bring an end to the miseries, and then share this wisdom, the light of the wisdom, with all the other sentient beings and lead them towards enlightenment. You mentally speak to them like this, and then share this mantra with all the sentient beings. That will be extremely, extremely beneficial for them and also for you. And these factors will be the factors for you to awaken your Buddha nature within yourself. So this is what we can do. Good. Okay, so where did we leave this morning? Anyone? Fourth and fifth. Okay. Is there anybody who can quickly take us the step 1, 2, 3? Anyone? By now you have all the 9 steps on your fingertips, right? The first person to have on the fingertips is Luca, I know. And Luca has that I was not even ask him. The rest of you have on the fingertips. How many have the fingertips? Raise hands. Ben, number 1. Then 2 there. Anyone else? 2. Okay, the Sherry Pema 3. Okay, only 3. Only 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's say anyone who likes to say these 9 steps without looking at the books. Anyone? Raise hands quick. Yes, Ben. Mike.
Hey. First step, equalizing self and others.
Good.
Reflecting on the demerits of cherishing oneself. Reflecting on the merits of cherishing others. Taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion. Giving your happiness to others with emphasis on loving kindness. Actual exchange of self and others. Special recollection of the kindness of others. Altruism and bodhicitta.
Wow. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, you're very uplifting, right? Very uplifting to hear somebody having all these on fingertips. Thank you so much. Okay, Drishti, the boy passed, not the girls. Drishti, okay, Drishti, there, yes. Did you have the first 3 or all 9? Very good. Okay, Drishti is a representative of the girls, and then the younger generation. Oh, but then also younger generation. Okay, Drishti.
Equalizing self with others.
Good.
Reflecting on the demerits of cherishing oneself.
Very good.
Reflecting on the merits of cherishing others.
Very good.
Taking suffering of others with emphasis on compassion.
Wow.
Giving your happiness to others with emphasis on love and kindness.
Wonderful.
Actual exchange of self with others.
Very good.
Special recollection of others' kindness.
Wow.
Altruism and bodhicitta.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. Sherry Pema. Yeah.
Equalizing self and others.
Yes.
reflecting on the demerits of cherishing oneself.
Very good.
Reflecting on the merits of cherishing others.
Very good.
Taking the suffering of others with
Emphasis
Thank you.
on compassion.
With emphasis on compassion, and giving your happiness to others with
Emphasis on loving kindness.
Actual exchange of self and others.
Very good.
Special recollection of the
Kindness
on the kindness
of others. Very good.
Altruism.
Very good.
Bodhichitta.
Wow. Okay, the Russian group. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, there. Oh, yes.
Geshe, thank you very much. Уравнивание себя с другими, размышление о недостатках себялюбия, размышление о достоинствах заботы о других. Сейчас, подождите, очень маленький шрифт на спине, и мне тяжело. Надо...
Sorry, wait a second. The lettering on my friend's bag is too small. Wait a second.
Теперь немножко в обратном порядке. Бодхичитта, альтруизм. Собственно, сам обмен себя на других, переносить страдания других с великим состраданием и отдавать свое благо другим с чувством великой благодарности.
Okay, so now I know the answer, right? Answer is already in this book. Man is taking the book.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what is it? It's just like sharing with you that first thing that we do is that we remember these steps on the fingertips. You try to make it, and then if possible, say. Let us not be too ambitious to remember both the methods or both the methods to be practiced within a single session. Don't be too ambitious. Today you do the method of equalizing exchanges of others. The next day you do the sevenfold cause and effect method. Then alternate between these two methods, and gradually not only that you will remember these steps, 9 steps, 7 steps, also that the transformation will take place. This is so important. So I would say that because when I meet with people, it's extremely sad to see the very painful situations with people. Painful meaning mental pain. To see that is extremely painful. And then whereas if you practice these two methods on a daily basis, we see that even though you may confront with the adverse situations, but your mind will be much more calm. You can actually deal with the challenges without any difficulty. So therefore, I would highly suggest that each one of us, include myself, to practice these. And it will take time. It will take time for the experiences to come to us. It will take time. But let us not give up. Let us not give in to that you don't succeed in invoking experiences. Let's never give in to that. Keep doing it. And over time, of course, with more extensive learning, and then seeing the examples of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is so compassionate. And then around you, you can see that some people are so compassionate and some are very seriously practicing this, even among the lay people. For example, like Narendra Master's course, NMC1. Some of the senior students from this program, Narendra Master's Course 1, we see that I know that some of them are very serious. They practice this every day. Emptiness every day. You're getting it? And now you can feel, you meet them, have a little bit of discussion, you could feel the weight of the experience. So this is what will happen to everybody. And some of you may think that, no, I'm, say the demon side, I don't have that intelligence to meditate emptiness, I don't have this compassion to practice bodhicitta. No, whether you are compassionate or not, whether you are intelligent or not, even these are all dependent originated. For example, so let's never forget this. If you think that I'm not really good at these things, like bodhicitta, compassion, intelligence, wisdom, and so forth, think of this example. Oftentimes I give the example of two stupas. One, a golden stupa, extremely exotic, beautiful, the golden stupa, and the other, just a worn-out, simple brick stupa, worn out. And just imagine that you are this simple, the worn-out stupa made of ordinary bricks, and the others you see that they are glowing and the golden stupas there. Then you say, oh, look at this, very different from me, I'm just hopeless. You may feel like that, but keep in mind that even that I feel myself as hopeless, I see others as amazing, this also dependent originated. What does it mean by dependent originated? Even those stupas which are so blazing with, say, the light and the so beautiful, this also dependent originated in ways that it is made of, let's say, like 1,000 bricks. Your stupa, which is worn out, is also made of 1,000 bricks. So these two stupas, they come into existence by dependence on the, say, the building blocks, the bricks. So knowing that, it originates, my stupa, which is worn out, it originates by dependence on these 1,000 worn out bricks. And that stupa originates by dependence on 1,000 solid golden bricks. Okay, so now I should not give up. I should not feel I should not feel the low. I should not feel hopeless, because that remove one worn out brick, replace it with a golden brick. The next day again remove another worn out brick and replace it with a golden brick. Keep doing that. Over time, your stupa will also start to glow. You're getting it? This is how we are never to give up. We are just to have confidence in your Buddha nature. That ultimate treasure is within each one of us. So with this, knowing that the true nature must be manifested, for this, remove all the worn-out bricks, replace them with the golden bricks. One day you will glow. You will have the golden and the stupa within yourself. So this should be the basic, the source of inspiration for us. And then on the practice set, say, study, then on practice on a daily basis, reflect, look around the people, some who are extremely kind, how they do, how they manage with the public dealings with other people, how they're so kind, how they react to their parents. So my mom, right? Say your mom said that, hey, my daughter, you will have a cup of tea. What tea? There's no sugar there. There's no coffee there, right? Don't have a coffee. Don't have a juice. This oftentimes is a reaction to the extremely kind gesture of the mother. This is how you react back. Whereas some people, the mother says, hey, my daughter, my son, you'll have a cup of tea. No, mom, please sit down. Let me know what you let have. I'll serve you, right? It's very different. So how these people, they manage Just look at them. If you're not so gentle on your parents, on your husband, your wife, your children, so forth, then you look at some other people. Finally, it doesn't matter you practice Dharma, don't practice Dharma, it doesn't matter. You should be happy. And the reality is that if we don't practice bodhicitta, if the compassion is missing, if the wisdom is missing, you will never be happy. While each one of us, we want to be happy. We don't want to suffer. If you really don't want to suffer, you want to be happy, then we have to know how not to suffer and how to be happy. That is by embracing the wisdom of emptiness, intelligence, the wisdom as much as possible, and embrace the compassion as much as possible. That compassion, I know that many of you will say that I've been practicing compassion, but people take advantage of my compassion. There's oftentimes the complaint coming from people. So there, in Mahayana teachings, there's what is known as the skillful compassion. It's not a compassion. Sometimes people talk about compassion fatigue, right? So I'm tired of being compassionate. People take advantage of me all the time, and then I don't get anything out of this. So people talk about compassion fatigue. People talk about the burnout. It's all because that the skillfulness is missing. What is required is compassion with skill, the skillful compassion. With the skillful compassion, nobody can take advantage of your compassion. Instead, you'll benefit yourself, you'll benefit others. Both sides are benefited, meanwhile others cannot take advantage of you. This is known as skillful compassion. You getting it? Good. Okay. So it's a matter of practice. Study, first enumerate what the 9 steps are, and then start practicing, right? For example, I personally, of course, I'm not really, very, very, very successful, the practitioner of the compassion, but a deep inside since my childhood, meaning that, by the way, my schoolmate, my homemate, my classmate, Mr. Tushita is here, and the little daughter's here. Yes. So my classmate, my homemate also in school, homemate. We're together, we suffered together, we enjoyed together, right? So welcome, my very dear friends, since we lost each other for all these many years, and today I'm meeting him after many years. Okay, so the point is that this is how we have to do, right? So with this, and the first 3 steps, equalizing self and others. The first step that we do is that where our basic trend of thinking says, I am more important than others. And this is what attracts all the problems. And many of the communities, they don't see this as wrong. The community where individualism is encouraged. Let me repeat it. Communities where individualism is encouraged, right? Who cares? You take care of yourself, others will take care of themselves. Why should you have to be bothered about others, right? In these communities, you will never be happy. So what we do is that, but don't blame the community. Now you have met with these brilliant teachings of the Buddha, brilliant teachings of Aranigarjuna, brilliant teachings of Bodhisattva Shantideva, Acharya Chandrakirti, and so forth. Now don't blame the community. Practice yourself and set an example, be a good example for others to be inspired, to say that, okay, I've been actually leading the life according to the norms of my community, individualism, and I'm never happy. And look at this person. It's the same country, Florida, same, right? And he's so happy, look. Kyle's so happy. Everybody loved him. He has so many likes on his Instagram. So many likes, and I crave the likes. I don't get any like, right? So I thought that my system, individualism, this is so good, but I don't get any like. And look at this Kyle. He went to Tushita once, right? He went to some retreat somewhere in Tushita something, Tashita something. He went there, and then now he's getting so much likes, and he's so happy, right? What was he doing? Just observe him, right? Then you see that he's meditating on the 9 steps, equalizing, exchanging, the method of equalizing the exchange of self to generate bodhicitta, right? And the sevenfold cause method to generate bodhicitta. He's meditating these things and he emptiness, right? So this is what makes him, this is the secret of his smile, beautiful smile on his face. Okay, I should also, because of that, you set a good example. Very inspiring example for others. So all of us, we have this responsibility. And one point, when you start to feel something inside, genuine compassion towards others, when you start to feel that out of this practice, then you will see that if I don't practice compassion, it's totally immoral on my part. I am evading my responsibility. You'll feel that. You're getting it? At the moment, it is just for myself. I practice compassion so that I will be free from self-grasping, self-centered attitude. But later on, you'll feel that this is a very high level of the practice where you feel that I have a moral responsibility to practice compassion. Okay. And so with this, we have to go through the steps. So the first step, we have to start from the ground. Don't start from the space. If you start from the space, collapse. From the ground is very stable. What's the ground? The ground is that we are born with selfishness. You're getting it? We have to start from there. We have to acknowledge our drawbacks. We have to acknowledge our shortcomings, our flaws, our shortcomings. We have to acknowledge that. And then don't climb too high. Climb just a small step. First step is, okay, thus far I feel that I'm more important than you, right? Although will not say this, but deep inside, this is our attitude. This is the principle, governing principle, which governs your whole activities. Then you say that, take the first step, that, okay, not that I'm more important than you, we are equal. We're equal, right? For example, these real life stories that you must have read, that you must have seen. And to be very honest, it's not that these really compassionate people you'll find only amongst the Tibetans. That's not true. Real compassionate people can be born in any country, in any religion, in any ethnicity, anywhere in the world. You're getting it? In some cases, you must have seen the clips, short video clips of a child born in a place where people don't feel the value of the animals. Animals are just for killing, it's just for eating, right? And the father just grab a chicken and then cut like a potato. But the small boy, a little girl, maybe age 4 or 5, seeing this, what the father was doing, screams. And this child never saw such a profound compassion anywhere else. But this child demonstrates such a profound compassion himself or herself, grabbing the animal and pulling the animal from the father's hand, and pulling the knife from the father's hand and telling the father, no, don't kill, right? And grabbing at the goat, grabbing at the chicken and so forth. This is amazing. Where did these small children, where did this compassion come from? In the small children, what example did they have? They did not have any example, because they were born in this area where everybody is killing the animals like the potatoes. Where did they learn this from? They brought this imprint from the past life. It's so precious, so precious. How many of you have seen such the video clips? Raise hands. You must watch these video clips. This is very inspiring. Naomi, you're good. Good. So we must watch those things. It's very inspiring. There was a little girl, right? She must be age 4 or 5. She was crying that I'm not going to eat meat. She's crying, saying. And the mother said, but if you don't eat meat, what will you eat? Then she said that I will eat anything that you give me other than the meat. And then the mother said, okay, what about fish? And this poor little girl, she didn't know whether fish is animal or not, right? She said, is fish animal, right? And the mother said, yes. Then I'll not eat. Why not? Animals so beautiful. Why are you killing them? It's so beautiful. Wow, it's amazing, so inspiring. If you practice bodhicitta in this life, no doubt in the future lifetimes, you will, you will be born like this with this very powerful imprints. And then the moment you hear the word bodhicitta, instantly you feel at home. This is where I should go. And then you will come directly to Tushita. Right? Directly to Tushita, you'll come. Okay, then you'll feel at home, right? Where is Kumpanla? Right? You'll search for her. Okay, so jokes apart, the reality is that this is how the mind works. So, say the text which we read, you remember the 37 practices of the Bodhisattvas. We read this, raise hands, who read it? Right, we all read it, right? 37 practices of Bodhisattvas. The author, Gyaltse Tome Sangpo, the great Bodhisattva, Tome Sangpo, he was just about 4 or 5 years old, as a little boy. Then did I share this anecdote with you? No, not here. Okay. This little boy was born in a nomadic area, very cold, and in those days, like perhaps like 200 years ago, and no facilities at all. So cold, terrible cold, minus in the centigrade. And there's all the people, the jaguar. What's the jaguar? It's just an animal fur. And this little boy also had his own small animal fur. And in the night, he was going out to relieve himself, and coming back, he was naked. We call it chuba. Chuba means they dress to cover himself, and the chuba is missing. And the mother or father or the brother says, they were always, what happened to your chuba? And this boy was not saying anything. And everybody was wondering what happened. And they went out to look for, where is this chuba? They found that the chuba was lying on a bush, on a small bush. And why did this boy put this chuba on the bush, the animal fur on the bush? And they just gently, they took the chuba out, and they saw a tiny spider there. So this little boy, what was he thinking? I'm huge. This spider is too tiny, and I have this fur cloth. And he did not have any clothes. He must be feeling so cold, and I'm in a house. He's not in the house outside. He must be feeling so cold. So he gives chuba to the poor spider. And on another occasion, this boy, he was he was walking with his uncle, and the uncle knew that this boy is very special. So one day, suddenly there was the storm. With the storm, all these leaves were being blown up in the air, and this boy just looking at the sky. This boy started to cry, scream, and the uncle knew that why this boy is screaming. Guess why this boy is screaming? Because this boy thought that all these leaves which are being blown in the sky by the wind, they're all the birds. So he was worried about the birds, right? These birds will be killed. He saw what he was screaming, crying. And the uncle, knowing that this is why this boy is crying, uncle will scold the boy. Hey, stupid boy, shut up. These are all leaves, they are not birds. Instantly the boy would stop crying, so happy. Okay, the poor birds, they're not dying. It's just leaves. No, these are how these children, they demonstrate so much of compassion when you practice from the past lives. So this young boy, later he became revered. He became somebody being revered as a bodhisattva in Tibet. Okay, so if you practice, the same thing will happen to us. So with this in mind, the first step from where we are born, very selfish, from there we have to take the first step and go away from selfishness. That is, okay, thus far I think that I'm more important than you. Now I realize that we're equally important, right? Not that I'm more important than others. We're all equally important. Then the second step, once you climb the first step, then second step is you're more important than me. How? Don't follow blindly. You're getting it? Don't force yourself Don't follow blindly. No, this Buddhism is shame that you don't show compassion towards others. You are selfish. You are following Buddha's teaching. Buddha is the religion of the message the Buddha taught is a religion of compassion. And then you feel yourself like forcing yourself. Never force yourself. Never force yourself. Dharma practice must be done in the spirit of joy. It must be done in the spirit of joy. And how can it be a spirit of joy? Only if you know the rationales. You know the reasons. You know how these practices are beneficial for you, beneficial for others, both. So that way we see, in this connection, I also like to bring to your notice that what is known as the 5 omnipresent mental factors. 5 omnipresent mental factors. Okay, 5 omnipresent mental factors is where our mind works. Our mind works. Our mind has 2 sides. One is cognitive aspect, and the other one is affective aspect. There are 2, cognitive and affective. What is cognitive? Cognitive, okay, let's say that there are 2 groups. There are 2 groups who likes flower and the one who doesn't like flowers. So I asked both sides, group A and group B. I asked, what is this? Hey, group A, what is this? Flower. Group B, what is this? Flower. So you both agree to the answer that this is a flower. So which means that there's no difference. Although one has affinity for the flower, one doesn't have affinity for the flower, but both give the same answer. And so where both sides give the same answer, that mind is known as cognitive aspect of the mind. Cognitive mind. The mind whose job is just to say, on this flower, that's it. You like it, don't like it, no affinity. Affinity is not expressed. Just say that this is the flower. This is known as a cognitive aspect of the mind. The next question, do you like it? Group A says, so. Group B says, yes. Then the affinity is shown. So what is affinity? Affinity means where the mind is pulled by the object or pushed by the object. Pulled or the pushed, that is affinity. So where the mind expresses in the form of affinity, those minds are known as affective. Affective, A-F-F-E-C-T-I-V. Affective aspect of the mind. So we see that our mind is of 2 kinds, cognitive aspect and affective mind too. And these 2 are closely connected. These 2 are closely connected. Say you miss your, let's say that you miss the dad or mom, say for the last 6 months, and you miss him. And suddenly somebody comes from behind. You could sense that somebody comes from behind. You thought that that person must be another the attendant of the retreat, another retreatant. And the person hits you from the back, right? Hits you from the back. So what will you do? What will you do? You will look at the person. First you will check. Without looking at it, you will not say that, right? You will just say who that is. So you're using your cognitive or affective. You're using the cognitive part of the mind. Who's that? Who is the one who hit me from behind? You look at it, and then you see that it's your dad. Then what happens? You hug, right? That is affective. I love you, right? And then whereas if it's an unknown person, then you just, hey, stay back, right? You push back. So moving close, moving away. Movement is there. This is affective. You're getting it? Affective doesn't necessarily mean only love and affection. It can be also aversion. Aversion also can be affective. So with this in mind, the compassion. What is compassion? Affective, cognitive. Hey, who is that? Who is that? This girl who said it? Compassion, what is that? Affective or cognitive? Affective. You're getting it? So how we're trying to say the cultivated compassion for all the beings. All the beings. So how does it work? For this, we need to know the 5 omnipresent mental factors. The first, let me enumerate what these 5 mental factors are. Number 1, contact. Number 1, contact. Number 2, attention. Number 3, discrimination. Then number 4, feeling. Number 5, wow, okay, this is amazing. If all the students are like Ben, right, then teachers will be very easy, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, number 1, contact. Number 2, attention. Number 3, discrimination. Number 4, feeling. Number 5, intention. Okay, so let's see how the mind works. This is beautiful, it's amazing how the mind works. And if you know how the mind works, and then if you apply this in your day-to-day life, it's just to watch your mind. It's like watching a movie, right? It's beautiful. It's amazing. Okay, let's say that. Okay, let's say that. Okay, if you don't mind. Okay, let's say that in the mornings you get up at. This is, here 5 o'clock. At home, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 6:30. Okay, let's say 6 o'clock. Let's say that you normally get up at 6 o'clock, which means the 5 o'clock means it's too early. Okay, so you're in your bed, and then what happens is that suddenly at 5 o'clock, you get up, usually you get up at 6 o'clock. And one day you at 5 o'clock, your mother opens the door and was holding something in her hand and said, "Good morning." Or what? Not good morning. Say happy birthday. Right? Happy birthday. And so holding something like this. Right? Holding something like this. And then at 6 o'clock, your eyes will be wide open. 5 o'clock, your eyes are still deep inside sleep. So your eyes cannot see properly. So first your eyes come in contact with your mom. My mom is holding something in her hand. Number 1, contact with the object. Then what will you do? You don't see too clearly. What will you do? No, just tell me, what will you do? You don't see too clearly. What will you do? Yes, exactly. Amazing. Rub your eyes. Why do you rub your eyes? Tell me. To see clearly. Pay attention. To pay attention. You're getting it? You rub your eyes to pay attention. Number 1 is contact. Your eyes came in contact with what the mother was holding. What the mother is holding in her hand. There's contact. With the contact, still you don't see too well. So you rub your eyes to pay attention. Number 2, attention. Paying attention, what do you discover? That what the mother is holding is brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max. You're getting it? Wow. Right? So you pay attention. Discrimination. Number 3. Discrimination, you get the discrimination. Discrimination has many connotations. One can be very negative, right? Gender discrimination, racial discrimination, and so forth. Here, discrimination is not in that context. It's very neutral in meaning. It simply means to know what it is and to distinguish between what is and what is not. So, with this, your eyes rubbed so well, and then you paid attention, you get the discrimination that what the mother is holding is brand new. Hey, Mr. Venerable Chung, tell me, brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max, right? Okay, discrimination. What is number 3? Number 4? Feeling. What feeling do you get? Pleasant feeling. You're getting it? Pleasant feeling. You want the pleasant feeling or not pleasant feeling? You want it? You don't want it? I want it. What triggered this pleasant feeling? Brand new iPhone 14, no 14, 15 Pro Max, right? This is the one which triggered this pleasant feeling. So what do? You want pleasant feeling to last longer, or you want a pleasant feeling just fleeting, just pass by? Last longer. How to last long? Keep it with you, right? Intention to hold what triggered this pleasant feeling? The mobile with you. That is embrace. You getting it? Embrace. On the other hand, I create another scenario. Say the mother, instead of that, mother slams the door at 5 o'clock. Happy birthday, my son, my daughter, right? And the mother is holding something. What? Your eyes come in contact with the object what the mother is holding. Then what happens? You don't see it properly. So what do? You rub your eyes for what? To pay attention. Number 2. Paying attention, you're going to know this is just a piece of chocolate. It's just a piece of chocolate, right? It's just a piece of chocolate. And which is better for you? Piece of chocolate or another 1 hour sleep? Which is better? Another 1 hour sleep. Chocolate you can get any time, right? Another 1 hour sleep. You want that. So you get something which is undesirable to disturb your sleep, right? So what is the feeling? Unpleasant feeling comes. You like the unpleasant feeling? You don't like it. What triggered the unpleasant feeling? The piece of chocolate to disturb your another 1 hour sound sleep, right? So you are unhappy with this chocolate. So the intention, what is number 5? Intention. To push the chocolate, that is known as aversion, anger. So this is a mechanism how your anger arises. This is a mechanism how your compassion arises. Okay, let's say, if you want to say, what is the basic principle? Say, we are trying to push others away from you. Coming to Tushita, what we learn here is to push others away from you or to embrace others closer to you. Embrace others. But the situation that we find around is such that you have no choice other than push others to create a barrier, right? So, if you like to embrace everybody, what should you do? So, how we naturally do is that we push others. Instead of embracing, we push others, right? So, for example, say your neighbor, right? Your neighbor, it's Sunday. It's the only time that you can sleep for a little longer. And the neighbor plays loud music on Sunday morning. You feel disturbed. So you are happy with the neighbor or not happy? Not happy. Aversion comes. So this aversion, I don't want to feel aversion towards anybody. I want to embrace everybody. But this aversion comes. So now, knowing this psychology, how the mind works, so if I don't want this aversion, what is aversion? Aversion is of the 5, number 5. What is number 5? Intention to push others away from me. That is aversion. If I don't want this, what should you do? You should change what triggered this aversion? Which of the 5 triggered the aversion? Feeling. When you think of the neighbor playing loud music in the early morning Sunday, it gives an unpleasant feeling. So what you do is that if you don't want the aversion, you want to embrace, then create the feeling, change it from unpleasant to the pleasant feeling, right? How to change it, right? So say, so I learned from Tushita that if I don't want aversion, if I want to embrace others, then I have to change the feeling from unpleasant to the pleasant. So how should I change the feeling, right? No, you have to change the feeling, right? At the moment you're feeling so averse, you look at your body language, you're averse to your neighbor. Your attitude should be positive. Yes, I like to be positive, but no, you should be positive. Don't force yourself. You're getting it? Don't force yourself. You have to know how to change. If you don't want that unpleasant feeling, what should you do? You change the 5 points. If you don't want the number 5, which is intention to push others, embrace others, well, how do you embrace it? What triggered that embrace or the push feeling? Change the feeling from unpleasant to the pleasant feeling. And yes, I want to have the pleasant feeling, but it's not coming. Don't worry. So it is also because of the causes. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. This is also by the cause. Okay, what is the cause? What is the cause? Discrimination. What's the discrimination? That this person my neighbor is so bad. He plays loud music on Sundays, right? Where I lose my sleep. I don't get the chance to sleep 1 hour extra. Okay. So how to change this discrimination? You're getting it? This is a key. How to change the discrimination? So discrimination is triggered by what cause? Huh? Attention. You're getting it? Attention and? Attention by? Contact. Look, attention and contact with very small information, with less information, you have no choice, right? You have no choice. If you have a lot of information, then the discrimination, you can have choices. So you need to meet with a lot of information. You have to learn a lot. You have to see the world. You have to see a different world. You're getting it? Say, for example, coming in the Tibetan community, right? Coming to the Tibetan community, then you say in your place, you put on the hat out of respect for your religion. And you come to the Tibetan community out of respect for the religion with the hat on. You have no respect. Lama Tsongkhapa is here, his son is here, no respect. You put a hat on. What did I do? You had the hat on, right? You put on the hat. You cover your head. It is so disrespectful. No, that's not true. So what's the problem? Because of the lack of information. You're getting it? Whereas if you know the world, then you know that in some places where there's the religious shrine, you put on the hat. So to cover your head as a sign of respect. In some places, putting on the hat is disrespect. So remove the hat, right? You have to know, you need a lot of information. So contact and attention, these two will make you rich in the information. So more the information, you can process the food more. Like if you have only one potato, right, for the food, so no varieties, right? Only one potato, either it can be mashed potato or French fries or what else? Tapadu? What is it? Damalu, right? Something about alu all the time, potato all the time. Because there's no choice. There's no other ingredients. If you have many ingredients, you can have momo, you can have spaghetti, you can have pizza, you can have what? Lasagna, falafel, you can have falafel, right? In Russia, what? Vodka? Right? Okay, wash. Borscht, right? So look, if you have multiple varieties, so many varieties of things, then you can pick up whichever gives you the pleasant feeling. Pick that up. If you have only one choice, you can't do anything, right? So one time there was the short video clip. They say a baby was there in a baby chair, and the mother was feeding the child, baby, right, real baby, in a baby chair, and the mother gave him some small bowl of noodles, and he looked at it, and he pushed it, right? What? Reluctance, so much of disapproval. Don't like it. I hate this. He pushed it. And the mother again gave something else. And again the child looked at it. And again pushed it. He did like 3 or 4 times. Finally, the mother gave her a glass of wine. Give him, not her, him. Glass of wine on his table. He looked at it. And he was so happy. He was so happy. Body is a baby. The mind is not baby. Old mind from the past life. Addicted. You're getting it? Past life addicted. The body is a baby. The mind is an old mind from the past life. Right? Addicted. So we need to fix it. All these can be fixed. All these problems can be fixed. Right? So each one of us, we have our own addictions. We have some form of the addictions are there with us. All of us. It's not that only few people, the addiction, they're very bad. No. All of us, we have some addictions there. The fact that we are in samsara is the proof that we have some addictions. How to undo this? Don't force yourself. Undo this by understand how the mind works. So particularly these five. What are the 5 points? Number 1, contact. Number 2, attention. Number 3, discrimination. Number 5, feeling. Number 6, intention. Very good. Okay, so what we need to do is that we finally say to practice unconditional love towards all the beings, which means to embrace all others, effectively embrace all others. So, but it does not happen. Don't worry. It is also because of the cause. What is the cause of that? Intention embrace, pleasant feeling. So if the feeling is unpleasant, it does not allow you to embrace others. So change the unpleasant feeling to pleasant. But it's not happening. The feeling's not the being changed. To what do you do to change the feeling? Never mind. The feeling is because of discrimination. Change the discrimination, right? Say, how to change discrimination? I'll give you an example. Say that your neighbor, you always plays loud music on Sundays, early morning, and you feel so agitated every Sunday morning. Then what do you wish? I wish that this neighbor vacates the house, right? And one day you get a news that this house is also always locked for the last 3-4 days, locked. And you check with the landlord. What happened to the neighbor? Oh, he vacated the place. Yes, you happy, not happy? Hey, tell me, you are very happy, right? You are very happy. But this room will not remain vacant all the time. Again, after a while, another neighbor comes, right? Then that neighbor, again the same habit, not in playing the music, loud music on Sunday mornings. He also throws garbage next to your door every day, right? Moment you're not there, the garbage is already there, right? Then you will miss your earlier neighbor. You will miss the earlier neighbor. Oh, although he deserves, but I miss my earlier neighbor. You know, he keeps our corridor so clean. He never throws garbage next to my door. This neighbor's nasty. I wish he comes back, right? So look, now you think of the earlier neighbor, pleasant feeling comes. Earlier, when we think of the earlier neighbor, unpleasant feeling comes. So what is the same object, but it triggers different feelings. Determined by what? How you look at the things. Your discrimination. Changing the discrimination changes the feeling. Changing the feeling, you will from pushing, you embrace. This is how the mind works. Knowing this, then apply this to your Dharma practices becomes very easy. You don't really have to force yourself. You don't really have to push yourself, force yourself, into Dharma practice. Yes.
So does it mean we don't point out
to the mistakes of others?
Yes, the obvious mistakes of others which cause disharmony in the locality, in the example of the sound.
Okay. So one thing, if I remember having told you, is all these are the fine tunings. You're getting it? These are very important questions. Hold them for a while. You ask me when we complete the step number 9. Which step we are doing now? 4, 5 yet to be done. You're getting just completed step number 3, right? Don't forget it. Your name again. Hari. Okay, Hari, don't forget your question. Did you all follow Hari's question? Okay, if you know how to manage this, right? If you know how to manage the mind, does it mean that you remain so passive in your community, not fix the problems which are being created by other people? You remain so oblivious to what is happening around you. You just focus on your mind. This is a very good question. Let's not forget it. These form a part of fine tuning. You are getting it. For example, like building a statue. What do you do? First, you create just a rough statue. Is there anybody who is into building statue or sculpture and so forth? Anyone? Or where? Diane? Ceramic. Okay, Karamika, yes. Architect, okay. Architect of mind? No, both. Architect of the building and architect of the mind, both, right? Okay, so the point is that the first, okay, the Diana tell me, right? Say, when you, let's say, if you are to make a statue of a person, statue of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, so right from the beginning, would you work on the details or you just make a rough?
Нет. Для начала нужно выстроить общие формы и понять пропорции.
First, you need to understand the proportions and the general form of the statue.
Okay, Diana, tell this to the Hari. Tell this to Hari, right? Okay, so
We need the
the
best.
details will come when?
Да, уже на конечных этапах.
On the final stage of the
Tell him. It's a final stage. The fine tuning comes last,
On
right?
the final stage.
If I say this, you will not trust me. But let her tell me. Experts tell her. Then he'll be convinced, right? Otherwise, he may think that he said a lot, and now he's trying to evade my question, right? So if Diana tells, then he will trust. Okay, good. Okay, but I like your smile. It's so contagious. It's so beautiful. Thank you. Okay, but these questions are very serious questions. The point is that we need all these questions resolved. After getting the whole structure, we need all these questions resolved. If not, your practice will not be successful. Because somewhere in your mind, this is what is said, but actually there are complications there. We cannot really resolve this, right? What happened was that once there was in a university, in Delhi University, there was a professor from another university who came for placement. What is placement? I don't know whether it's the same word used in different places, different countries. The placement means to recruit staff, to recruit people, to give them jobs, to what? To recruit the staff, or to what do you call this? Hire or to select, because everybody applies and they want to be very selective, good ones. You getting it? Good ones. So for that, there was one MBA professor. What is MBA? Management. What is MBA? Master of Business Administration, right? He was a MBA professor, right? And he came from a different the state in India to Delhi University to pick up students who are graduating MBA and so whatever. And then we were always meeting in the mornings for the breakfast, because I was also there, for a temporary teaching the university students philosophy and psychology. I was also there for 20 days. Even he was also there for about 20 days. We were in the same guest room. No, guest house. And every morning we were meeting for the breakfast. And then we started to talk. And I came to know that he's from the business, the department. Then he asked me a question that he told me, Guruji, tell me, how does business and the ethics, how do these two things go together? And I was trying to explain this. And I said, I also teach my students, you can be ethical in business. And I try to explain this, but my students always ask questions. They're not convinced. You're getting it? And then I try to give another answer. He said, I also give the same answer, but even I'm also not convinced. You're getting it? So when you're not convinced, then Dharma practice will remain stagnant. It'll never grow. You're getting it? We should be convinced. So it must be a joyful journey. It should not be by force. By force, you're not convinced.
It should be a joyful journey. So that is through only transforming your cognitive thought process. And that is so easy. You don't need to have unpleasant feeling there, right? You have to do it. But feelings what? Unpleasant. And you're forcing yourself. So this by no means is of any benefit to you. Okay, good. So knowing this, now what we do is that what we do, so finally to practice the universal compassion, to embrace everyone. For this, what is this? Which of the 5 functions is that? Embrace everyone. Which of the 5 functions? Intention. You're getting it? Of the 5 omnipresent mental factors is the intention. If you want to have the correct intention to embrace everybody, what should you do? You should make the feeling pleasant when you think of others, all others. Pleasant feeling. How to get this pleasant feeling? By changing the discrimination. How to change the discrimination? How to change the discrimination? By changing the attention and the contact, these 2. What do you mean by changing contact and attention? To get as much information as possible, so that you become so rich in the information that you can pick up any discrimination you like, whatever makes your mind to become you feel pleasant feeling, and then automatically embrace others. Okay, so having said this, now we are doing step 4 and 5. You're getting it? What is step 4? What's step 4? Anyone? Say it again. Taking sufferings of others with the emphasis on compassion, right? Okay. So what we do is that we say intellectually you do the exercise. Meanwhile, we also practice it. For example, in schools, what we have is theory and practical. You have to attend both. You need to be good and do what you learned in the theory class. You have to see if it really works in the practical class. You're getting it? Likewise, we need to study them, intellectually think of these things, and then practically see that you're actually doing it. Okay, so what step number 4 and 5, these are a part of the practice. And some people, right, they are good in taking the benefit from others. They're not good at giving benefit to others. You getting it? Is it good or bad? Hey, good in taking benefits from others, right? Not good in giving. So it's good or bad? No, taking benefits from others. Benefits and not good at giving benefits to others. Is that good or bad? Huh? Of course, this self-centered attitude is bad. You're getting it? Don't think that he must be talking something, some miracle, right? It's as simple. Just is very bad. Now, this habit should be reversed. We have to reverse this habit. Don't forcefully do it. Do it skillfully, without any exertion of the pain on yourself. So reverse what? Now, instead of being good at taking benefit to yourself, be good at giving benefit to others. You're getting it? Okay. So this is what we need to practice. How to do that? Is that so some people sometimes they give you, say, anything present to you, you're so happy, thank you. But your turn to give the present to you, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to give. Okay, right? And some of you may not be that, but this is to some degree we have this problem. To some degree, some may have 80%, 90% of this problem, right? So take 100% easily. To give 10% is very difficult, right? But we have to learn how to reverse it. If you don't reverse it, we will never be happy, right? We'll never be happy. Okay. How to reverse this? The Tibetan masters Tibetan masters, they particularly do those people who are extremely, what do you call these people? Stingy. Stingy. Particularly people, those who are extremely stingy, for them to teach how to practice this, say, if you ask a small child, right, you give the chocolate and ask the child, okay, your chocolate, shall I give it to the neighbor? The child will say no, right? If the child is very stingy. And shall I give it to your brother? So no, you have to give it to somebody, and you choose to whom to give, but you have to give it, right? If you don't give it, I'll not give the next chocolate to you. You have to give it to somebody. The neighbor? No. Your brother? No. Your father? No. Your mother? Okay. Why? If I give it to mother, mother will give it back to me. Right? Mother? Okay. Mother, I keep it for you. Right? Okay. So there, at least he's learning something. That's why he never gave it to mother. And today he learned something to give it to the mother. Right? Next, you have to give it to somebody other than your mother. If you don't give that, I'll not give you the next chocolate. To your neighbor? No. To your brother? No. To your sister? No. To your dad? Okay. Right? Because dad doesn't like chocolate. Right? And then if he's there, when he's not there, I can take it. So this is how one practices. This is like physiotherapy. If you have broken arms and your arm is also always sitting like this, right? And then what do? Physiotherapy, what is that? You do like this. Then how do you do? Slowly. First like this, right? And then like this, and then like this, and then like this, then like this, then like this, right? Gradually. So for people who are extremely stingy, they want to practice it, they can't practice it. How to do that? This is a form of addiction for us. Addiction in being stingy. Addiction in being angry. Right? There are so many forms of addiction. How to undo this addiction? One is to take one step at a time. So, interestingly, the Tibetan masters, is there anybody who has a coin? Coin? No coins. No coins. Anyone? This is not a coin. Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, let's say that, hey, give it. No, I cannot give. Okay, this is how many rupees? 4 rupees. Okay, I'll give you 100 rupees. And to take 100 rupees is not a problem. To give 4 rupees is a problem. Right? No. So if you cannot give that, don't worry. Can you give it to your brother? No. To your mom? No. Right? Can you give it to yourself? Yes. Right? So then these are the steps taught by the great masters. From your left hand, right hand, give it to your right hand. Oh, now I'm giving. Right? Okay, now I'm giving to my right hand. Now I'm giving to my left hand. So it's like physiotherapy, like this. Right? If you can move like this is not what you want. You want like this. But this is the way how you have to do it. Initially like this. So first give it to yourself, and then give it to your mom, then to your dad, then to your brother, sister, neighbor, then gradually do all the beings. You're getting it? This is like a physiotherapy. This is practice. Okay, the Venerable, would you mind giving 2 before it goes to my pocket? Okay, yeah. Nadia, would you mind taking it back? Thank you. Okay, so this is what we should be doing. Step 4. Taking the miseries of others on yourself, with emphasis on compassion. Step 5, giving your happiness to others with the emphasis on loving kindness. Step 4 and step 5 combined together is known as the practice of Tong-len. Tong means to give. Len is to take. This is a Tibetan word, Tong-len. Tong is to give. Len is to take. Tong-len. Combined together, T-O-N-G. Tong, L-E-N, Tong-len, right? Okay. This step 4 and 5 collectively is known as Tong-len practice. And many people, so when you go through difficult times, some practitioners, even some teachers, they may say, "Oh, do Tong-len practice." I would say that it's a good advice. It's so precious. In fact, this is something this is a very different culture. Different culture where you go through difficult times. You are advised to do the Tong-len practice. Take suffering for others. Give happiness to others. This is something which you don't find really in the conventional world. This is something so precious, but we should be very careful. This Tong-len practice, if that is not accompanied by the first 3 steps, this Tong-len practice will make you go burnout. Will make you go burnout. Will make you feel burnout. It can be very dangerous if you don't include the first 3 steps. And it's not just what I'm saying. I've met many people who said that, yes, one teacher asked me to do Tong-len practice when I go through depression. I did it, and then I couldn't take it anymore. I stopped it altogether. This is because of the failure to incorporate the first 3 steps. If you don't have the first 3 steps, then the Tong-len practice is like forcing yourself. Forcing yourself. If you force, it will never work. Dharma practice will never work when somebody forces you. Whereas it must be done with joy. You getting it? Okay. So how do you do that? If you include the first 3 steps, then the Tong-len practice is full of fun, is so joyous. The moment you do that, it is like doing that for yourself, not really for others. You'll not feel burnout. Okay. What to be done? What involves? What procedures involved there in this Tong-len practice? First, step number 4, taking the suffering of others. And suffering that you take, the suffering of others, they say there are so many ways of doing that. And what I'm sharing with you is just one way, right? And yet it is very comprehensive. If you can do it like this, that's good enough. But it doesn't mean that what others do is wrong and what you're doing is correct. All are correct as long as these practices have the experiential benefit in your mind to make you become more compassionate. Okay, how do you do that? So given that the suffering the beings go through is of 3 kinds. What are they? Suffering, change, and the pervasive condition suffering. 3 kinds of suffering. So what you do is that as you breathe in, imagine all the sufferings of other people, particularly the people who you know, who are hospitalized, who are in ICU, who are in the war-torn zone in these places. Think of these people and take this suffering, and the suffering in the form of you absorb this suffering, suck this suffering, absorb this suffering in the form of extremely dirty, gushing water gushing through your left nostril as you breathe in. You just take all the suffering in the form of a very dirty water gushing through your left nostril and entering through your heart. And at the heart, imagine that your self-centered attitude, which is the root cause of all our problems, and a self-grasping ignorance, these 2 are just chilling out, right? These 2 are chilling out at your heart. They stay there, right? And the moment the dirty water from your left nostril, they gets into, they're very ascetic in nature, and they consume this self-centered, self-grasping ignorance. Also imagine that your heart is also consumed by the corrosive, the acidic, the dirty water. And then these dirty water, they all go down the ground, and do it like 3 times. First, taking the suffering, any form of suffering. Okay, shall you do that? Okay, let's sit up properly. Okay. You can think of suffering in general, or think of suffering, specific examples of suffering, which you know of somebody, who you know that somebody suffering from, who is suffering from the severe illness or cancer or difficult times. So yeah, just take the suffering of that at the person in the form of very dirty water gushing through your left nostril, and as you breathe in, it passes through your left nostril, and then it eats up all these self-centered, self-grasping ignorance, and even your heart. And then as you breathe out, imagine that then it goes down your body, feet, ground, 3 times. Okay. Okay, good. Next is taking the suffering of change. Suffering change in the form of bait. The bait which lures all the sentient beings, that they are trapped in samsara. They could not escape out of samsara, all because of this bait-like suffering and change. You take the suffering of change, all the mundane happiness in the form of bait, you take it to yourself, again in the form of very dirty, the water gushing through your left nostril 3 times and eating up your self-centered attitude at your heart, and eating up your heart also goes down and just passes by the ground 3 times. Okay, next, suffering, the pervasive conditioned suffering. Of course, we need to identify what they are. That we are under the sway of the contaminant karmas and afflictions. That all sentient beings, they're under the sway, they're under the control of the contaminant karmas and afflictions. You just take this pervasive conditioned suffering in the same way, 3 times together. Okay, so this is the practice of taking suffering by others with emphasis on compassion. What is next? Giving happiness to others with emphasis on loving kindness. Okay, giving. Giving means generosity. And generosity, there are 4 kinds. Give this to this. Okay, giving involves generosity, and when you speak about generosity, generosity is not only, okay, generosity. Hey, generosity. Right? Okay. Generosity, there are 4 kinds of generosities. 4 kinds. Usually when we say generous, it's all about the material resources, material things. But generosity is not only related to the material resources, it's of 4 kinds. One, the generosity of material resources, number 1, which is the most common one. Generosity of material resources. Number 2, generosity of affection. Generosity of loving kindness, generosity of affection, number 2. Number 3, generosity of protection / fearlessness. Generosity of protection or fearlessness, number 3. Number 4, generosity of dharma. Number 1, generosity of material resources. Number 2, generosity of affection / loving kindness. Number 3, generosity of protection / fearlessness. Then number 4, generosity of dharma. Okay. This is these of these 4, we do see that even in the conventional world, there are many sayings. There are many popular sayings. Say, for example, and how much do you appreciate the person who always feeds somebody, feeds another person? Good, bad, very good. And then somebody who teaches somebody how to make bread, how to get bread, right? Which is better? Or every day giving bread to the person, or teaching the person how to get bread? Teaching the person, this is more precious. So number 1 is a material resources. Give material resources. This is considered as the least one, least important of the 4, and the generosities. Then the loving kindness, giving the affection. This is so important. Then giving fearlessness. This is more important. Then finally giving dharma. Giving dharma is giving advice, how to create happiness, how to get away from miseries. If you teach the person how to get away from miseries and how to create happiness, then your job is done, right? You don't worry. The person will do it by himself or herself. It's like a self-perpetuating machine. Rather than you have to always go there, feed the machine. Instead of that, let the machine work on its own. That is the best of the gift of the dharma. Dharma is what? Advice. Giving advice, how to be happy, how to stay away from suffering. Okay, so what we do is that first, giving material resources, generosity of the material resources. When you practice this, again you breathe out. As you breathe out, you imagine that, in fact, material resources, they are the karmic result of the virtues. Of your virtues, all the virtues that you have gathered, send them. And mentally, whatever good things that you have, material resources that you have, send them as you breathe out in the form of these white nectars and the white lights through your right nostril. You breathe out, and the mere touch of these lights and nectars with the other beings who are deprived of material resources, the nectars and so forth, they become the material resources, like the houses, the foods, clothing, and so forth. Whatever good things that the material resources that other people require. And so these virtues, nectars, white lights, they become these, and then people are so happy, they feel fulfilled. This is what we have to do 3 times. Ready? The first one is material resources. Okay, 3 times. Good. What is number 2? Generosity number 2. Affection, loving kindness. Affection or loving kindness. Many people, they suffer loneliness. Many people, they suffer depression, anxiety, and so forth. Particularly when they go through low phase of their life, loneliness. So they actually deprived of love and affection from others. So again, as you breathe out, imagine that all your virtues, your practice of compassion that you did, practice of loving affection that you did, they all go in the form of white light, white nectars through your right nostril and go out to all the beings and people who are suffering from anxiety, stress, depression, loneliness. The mere touch of these nectars and lights with them, they transform into Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and also yourself, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and they are meeting with them, they listen to their problems, and they are giving affection to them. Just listen to the problem, then giving them the comfort. And then you feel that the moment in many cases where the people are suffering from loneliness, suffering from depression, you just listen to the person, just say, okay, you'll be all right. What problem you have, just listen. Even by listening, this is a great healing for them. Just by listening, because usually the lonely means they don't see anybody around them. They don't see anybody who really cares for them. So now when you are there to listen to them, they can feel your love and affection. Then the mind, which sinks down too deep, which drops on too deep, they will gradually be uplifted. They'll feel the lightness. This is so important. And in real life, if you do come across people who go to depression, who go through, say, the feeling of loneliness, and how to help them is, don't say, what makes you depressed? Why are you lonely? Don't talk like this, right? Just go there. How are you? Yes, I'm also feeling lonely sometimes, right? You will feel as though like you are lonely, you're also depressed. But life is beautiful, right? And then the person starts to talk to you because the person feels comfortable with you. The person talks to you, don't talk all the time. Listen. Just listen. Listening is an incredibly great factor of healing for them. Because listening means now nobody will listen to you unless you get something back, right? What will I get if I listen to you? This is the attitude. So people have a feeling that nobody will listen to me, right? Because they don't care for me. They don't love me. Whereas if you listen without any expectation in return, they could feel your love and affection. The moment they feel love and affection, they see that they are not lonely. You're getting healing starts to take place. This is so precious in real life. And that too, the first stage of the practice of compassion is that you do this for others and you'll be happy, right? Even if the other person is happy, not happy, don't worry too much. You'll be happy, no doubt. Then the second phase is that you make the other person happy. That is your goal. Whether you're happy, not happy, this is not your goal. Second phase. This is a higher level of compassion. First level of compassion is what? You being nice to them, I'll be happy. You're getting it? I'll be happy. My self-grasping, self-centered energy will be pushed back. And self-centered energy cannot shoot the arrow at me. Right? I'll be protected. That's the first level of compassion. Second level of compassion is that I don't care. You should be happy. If you're happy, this is what I want. You're getting it? This is another level of compassion. It's just so beautiful. Okay, so we'll discuss later this part. What do you do now? Hey, wisdom. Huh? Okay. Say, with generosity? 4 generosities. Generosity of affection / loving kindness, right? So in real life as well, say when you do come across people who are really depressed, lonely, right, you should be, say, with the best of intention you give company to the other person, you make the other person feel more, right, more depressed, right? What makes you depressed? What's the problem? Tell me. What's the problem, right? And then the person said, yeah, I have a problem. They say, I did not really do well. Why you do not study? Right? You don't study? What have you been doing? You have been roaming around? Right? No, don't do that. Be good. Right? And the person would become more depressed. Right? Okay, we should be very skillful, extremely skillful. The first thing is listen. Be a good listener. Let the person speak. Right? And the other person is not a bodhisattva, other person is not a Buddha. Buddha and bodhisattva, they will not go into depression. You're getting it? Depressed means person does not have these realizations. So you are there to help, not to go let the person go deeper into depression. This is not your job, right? So first thing is listen to the person well. Be a good listener. Listen out of compassion, right? Compassion. And the person may have so many negative things to talk about other people. And you just say, yes, that's true, that's true. I fully agree with you, right? Although you don't agree, just say, I fully agree with you. That's very true. That person is like this, yeah, right? And the person will start to feel the healing. You're getting it? Okay, this is so important, so important. Be a good listener. And in short, what we require is skillfulness. Don't forget it. Skillfulness. You getting it? Okay. So, say, giving happiness with emphasis on loving kindness. So what you do is that you say giving affection towards others. As you breathe out, these nectars, white lights, they go there, the mere touch with beings, they transform into Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Adamanjushri, Adavalukiteshvara, Lama Tsongkhapa, Buddha Shakyamuni, and yourself also there, right? And then meeting with the people, listen to them, what's the problem? Yeah, that's true, I fully agree with you, don't worry, I'm always with you, right? So like just giving them the sense of assurance that somebody's there to listen and somebody's there to give affection. Just let them feel. Okay, 3 times. Okay, good. Next is giving protection or giving fearlessness, right? So say people in the hands of the terrorists. People in the hands of the terrorists, how much fear, what kind of fear they have to live in. Then they say the poor animals in the slaughterhouse, KFC, right? And in the hotels, the fast hotels where the big fish and the big crabs in just a small water tank, right? And they just think this is so painful. Okay. So as you breathe out, giving protection to them, giving protection to their life, giving, say, the fearlessness to their life. For example, you can think of one at a time, like the captives in the hands of the terrorists, or animals in the slaughterhouse, or the caves. How many poor chickens, millions of chickens are killed a day. This is totally unfair. To be very honest, it's totally unfair. So one time, there was, I think about like 17 years ago, when I was here in Dharamsala, and I had, let's say, the pain on my left ribs. There was a pain there. There was a pain, acute pain for like 3 days. And then the doctor advised me to go to Delhi for a checkup. I went there, and the doctor said that you have to go through a test, biopsy. Biopsy means to check what the problem is. And the what is that? What do you call this? Radiologist. Say he was to do the test, take the biopsy test. And then he sent me into this huge machine, and where he gave me a local anesthesia. So this is where he's going to inject to take the sample from the liver, from the lungs. And he gave me a local anesthesia. And with the local anesthesia, then he injected me. When he was injecting me, he said, he gave me warning. I'm going to inject you. If you move, injecting, if you move, then I send you through the scan. If you move, all the procedure have to be repeated. Right? So it's so painful. So when he gave me local anesthesia, and then when he was actually giving the injection to take the sample out of this liquid from the lungs, I got a feeling it's so painful when he was putting the needle there. It's so painful. It's like literally to my ears. It is like hearing this the boulder crashing on me, like dick 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 dick, like this. And he said, "Don't move." I could not move. The pain was so acute. Then after all these procedures, there was a nurse, a Tibetan nurse, and who was sent by my friend to help me, because she's working in this hospital. And then I asked the nurse, "Are you vegetarian?" She said, "No." Then I told her that, "Look at me. Same, the doctor's not slitting me. Doctor's just the injecting a very fine needle there. That too with the local anesthesia. Still, the pain is so acute. And the poor animals, no anesthesia. It's not just needle. It's just slitting the throat. And for what? And how much pain that they have to go through. For what? For 5 minutes of enjoyment, meal enjoyment. This is extremely unfair on us to be like this, to create such a pain on the poor animals." And then I asked her, "Can you become vegetarian?" She said, "Yes, I will." And then the next year, I met her with her friends. There's some, boys, girls were all there, friends, and she must have shared the whole story, how she became vegetarian to her friends. And after 1 year when I met them, then all her friends, they were telling me, "Geshe, she's still vegetarian." Right? Okay, this is what we need to think of. That we really need to think of these things. So we talk about compassion, and it's so wise, it's so beautiful. At the same time, if we cannot take real steps, that is something that then will make us take a long time to actually accomplish what we are seeking. So for that, so what steps we can take towards vegetarianism? If you can gradually turn towards vegetarianism, that would be wonderful. And even the tiny insects on the road, say if the ants are moving, or if, for example, in the mornings when Mukumpela comes to, take me from my place, and they escort me from my place, and I said, she was so sharp, I don't know how she's seeing. The tiny insects, she would see it very easily. She would pick them. A so beautiful gesture. And I could not see. What's wrong with my eyes? I don't know. Right? So the point is that if you do see, don't just ignore. Just pick them up and put them in a safer place. One. And the other steps also, like, for example, say the one that I think, I don't know whether because of the two retreats very close by, from the Tushita to here, so I get mixed up in my mind. So sometimes, like cooking food, when you cook food, you boil and the pasta, and then you drain the water. It's hot boiling water. You drain it directly in the sink, and how many worms, millions and billions of worms, they will be killed by your draining the hot water. So what I do is that, okay, no hurry, just they drain this in another utensil and keep the utensil just there, let the water cool down. Or if you're in a hurry, there's no extra utensil, then put it under the running water, right? Make the water lukewarm. and then let it flow so that the worms will not be killed. All these small things that we need to consider return to practice of compassion. If you take these steps, then when you actually practice these the 8, 9 steps and 7 steps, when you take the steps, the feelings will be felt very strongly gradually. Then the bodhicitta, there's hope for us to generate bodhicitta. Okay, so the next is the fearlessness. Right, giving the generosity of fearlessness. What we can do is again the nectar's flow, the right day's flow, and then you say the victims in the hands of the terrorists. Imagine the mere touch of the lights, they transform into you. You are there, and you are talking to the terrorists. Tell them that if at all, please let go of this person, and I will pay you this much of ransom. I'll pay this much as a ransom. You let go of this person, and imagine that the terrorist let go of the person, and the person meets with the parents, the children, husband, wife, and so forth, and so happy. And then if the terrorists, and if you can do even more dramatic, then you can even go to extent saying that if at all you have to kill somebody, kill me rather than killing this person. Spare this person and kill me, right? If you can do that, sometimes we cannot do that mentally. Even mentally, you cannot do that. If you cannot do that, don't force yourself. Whatever you can do that. Do that much. Don't go to the extreme. Some people can do that. If you can do that, then just let if at all you want to kill somebody, slit my throat instead of slitting the throat of this person. Spare this person. And then imagine that this person actually slitting the throat. When you're slitting the throat, what's your reaction? So much of like this, the fear, acute fear will come to you. That fear is nothing. That fear is actually combating with your self-centered attitude. Self-centered attitude is attacked. You getting it? But if it goes to the extreme, don't do it. Don't do it. Do the milder ones, and later on, gradually, you can do that. Ready? And then likewise, KFC. It gives how many poor chickens have been killed. Millions of chickens have been killed, right? So even if you are non-vegetarian, one step that you can take is that I will not buy anything from KFC, right? And then KFC people may not be too happy with me, right? But these are the steps that we have to take, right? KFC, and the moment you pass by the KFCs, pray. Recite this mantra for all these poor chickens, and also for the people who slaughtered the chickens. Recite the mantra for them, right? Okay. And so this is how we can extend to the other things. Okay, let's do that 3 times. Good. What is next? Generosity of Dharma. Generosity of Dharma, again, there are so many ways doing that. You can do it in a simplistic way, in a simple way, or in a more elaborate way. So what I do is that Dharma is what? To give guidance to the people, to the beings, that they be freed from suffering, that they have the maximum happiness. So what will give them, free them from miseries and give them maximum happiness? The 4 dharmas. 1, renunciation. Both dharma of renunciation, dharma of bodhicitta, dharma of the wisdom of emptiness, and the dharma of the non-dual bliss and emptiness. Let me repeat it. Dharma of renunciation, dharma of bodhicitta, dharma of wisdom of emptiness, and the dharma of union of bliss and emptiness. Okay, 4 dharmas, right? Okay, we'll do this. And the first one, the dharma of renunciation. Why the beings are still suffering? There's so much of fear and sickness, aging, and so forth, is because of them not having learned how to renounce negative karmas. Because negative karmas, these miseries arise. So you imagine that as you breathe out, imagine that this nectar, white light, they touch with the beings. The mere touch, these lights, they transform into the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas like Adi Manjushri, Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Tsongkhapa, and so forth, and then so forth. And they are giving teachings on renunciation. Renounce your negative karmas. Renounce non-virtuous actions, right? And then all the beings, they learn, yes, now I realize all my sufferings are because of my negative karmas. I should refrain from negative karmas. And then imagine they are freed from all the fears of life. Okay, 3 times together. Good. Next, the Dharma of Bodhichitta. So now you're able to make the beings free from suffering. But they not only that they want to be free from suffering, but they also want the maximum happiness. And maximum happiness is the result of Atacharic mind, universal compassion, bodhicitta. Now you do the same thing. Imagine that you are, say, the ascended nectars, so forth, that they transform into Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to teach them about bodhicitta, the two techniques. You're getting it? Bodhicitta, and then they realize. Then imagine that every sentient being, their heart is being expanded with universal compassion for everyone, that the happiness expands to infinity, each one of them. Okay, 3 times. Okay, good. So the universal dharma number 3 and number 4 will combine together in the form of the wisdom of emptiness. And how to make these two aspirations come true. Renunciation is aspiration, that may I be freed from suffering. Bodhicitta's aspiration, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. How to make these two aspirations come true? By the wisdom of emptiness. Now you give the wisdom of emptiness. These nectars transform into Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and they teach the wisdom of emptiness. And everybody realizes everything's like a dream. There's nothing for me to be afraid of. That mind, everything's like a dream. Okay, let's do this 3 times. Now imagine all the beings, both this wisdom and emptiness, all the afflictive obscurations, cognitive obscurations, they're all removed, purified. And the Buddha nature within them, the gold, like Buddha nature, where the mud is all removed completely, the gold becomes so pure. That's the state of Buddhahood. Infinite happiness is what they're experiencing now. Feel that. Just rejoice in what you've done thus far. Okay, good. I will stop here. We'll turn to the end action prayer, page 52.
I dedicate the marriage thus gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of all the Buddhists and the Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast is space that I've amassed from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance. Teta Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. 3 processions together.